Champions, welcome. The squares have aligned and bingo is nigh. It's time for Elden Squares Season 3. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, we have a team that is not named Womp Womp. I'm really on my game right now. That is Tank and Top. Their primary DLC player is one of the best women in Elden Squares and arguably all of bingo. She is one of the most practiced and hardworking players in the entire league as she relentlessly grinds to add a bingo championship to her illustrious competitive career. A lover of NPCs and someone who will take on any fight, anytime, anywhere. It is none other than Elemis, Bia's champion, and her teammate, one of the most decorated players in the history of the sport. This man has more titles and more podium finishes than you can count. He has been playing bingo for as long as anyone other than Lil Aggie, Dobo, and Chris. You cannot say enough about this man. He is one of the GOATs and looking to cement his GOAT status with a win here in Elden Squares Season 3. It is none other than Tank Top Helios and their opponents. Fighting out of the blue corner, we have a team of hitless runners who have taken to the bingo streets with flying colors. They are champions in other divisions looking to get their Elden Squares title. Their primary DLC player is the champion of the most recent Rookie Rumble, and he is making waves in the Golden Order. Someone who will go for the riskiest play no matter what. It is none other than the Spectator Lemon and his teammate, one of the most decorated hitless runners in the entire world, and the champion of the Elden Squares Crucible, looking to continue his winning ways. It is none other than Cronies, Mr. Hitless. Now let's get ready to run that board and square off. All right, Rambler, are you ready to go here?
Yes.
Then let's go ahead and do this thing. Here we go. Rambler, center square.
Dragon Lord Placido 6.
I will be going for Melania until it appears. You guys know the drill at this point. Maybe today will be the day. And the center square is Elemer of the Briar. So that is a pretty easy rush square for the base game player. A pretty light DLC board. Pretty base game heavy. We'll going ahead and just taking a look at the DLC squares because it's always a topic of conversation. 3 squares in row 1, 2 in row 3, Death Knight, Bale, and Metter. So in total, only 8 DLC squares, pretty light on this board here. That being said, actually, I don't know why I started sleeping going Melindell, but that being said, the DLC squares, we have some of the 2 latest DLC squares in the set with both Bale the Dread and Metter Mother of Fingers. That might be even more reason to potentially delay your DLC entry here, considering that of the DLC squares, a lot of them are later on this board. And we have the DLC plus Altus Access Square in Two-Handed Sword plus Dragon Crest Great Shield. Elemer the Briar could very well be a rush. You just go Makar straight in to the straight into Elemer there. In terms of other rush square ideas, we have Loretta. But overall, I feel like Sleeping Gold Melindell. Overall, though, I feel like this is a board with you're gonna have to synergize well, right? Catacombs, Lord bosses, Physic tiers, Demi-Human Queens, Seals, Kaled bosses. There's a lot of counting squares on this one, at least relative to typical mounted bosses as well. Rambler, what are some of your thoughts on this board here today?
This board is a bit of a little bit of a nightmare to decide if you're gonna like. I don't think a rush on the GLC is that like warranted, but at the same time, there is a couple of squares that are fast enough that you might consider doing it anyway, because of GLC jail and sort of light. Like those are very good to synergize with Death Knight and to go Flame Dragons if you want to do. AGM to prep Matter and Bale, but those squares are like I think DLC J is the only one that is fast enough to justify a rush. So I could see both teams here sending both Ellie and Lemon to get Altus access sooner than expected and not going for the full rush. Elemer is like it's so big of a rush on this board because you can also like set up some things like catacombs. You can set up other things through the Makar play that I consider that like both Helios and Cronus will be looking into doing Elemer very soon. Sage's Cave is also a very nice early rush based on getting also the torch for the Black Knife Assassins. So maybe there's like opportunities for like trying to figure out like your board position before actually going to the GLC.
Yeah, and there is that Remembrance Boss daggers or fists only square on the board as well. However, if you want to go for that, you would not be able to use the Death Poker. It looks like Cronies here is going to go with a Flamberge start, which is still quite a good weapon, but will not get Death Poker. However, that starting class, according to the streets, the information that has Glintstone Chris, so he could use that for Dagger's Fist only on Godric, most likely, if he wants to go for that. I like this board a lot in that it's non-traditional. You know, I like having non-traditional boards every once in a while, and that it challenges our players to play in ways that they maybe are not prepared for. But we'll see how they go ahead and attack this board here today as we are underway. Here we go.
Yeah, the thing about these boards is that like you definitely don't want to be in a position of having less map than the other team, right? So and also you want to have players that are capable of doing the whole thing. In this particular situation, we have 4 players that are capable to do every square on the board, right? So it is going to be more about timing or map access timing, where you're going to like try to figure out your best position to get some early squares. We see Okina Invader also as a corner spot there, which could make like the possibility of column 1 becoming your play off rip. But that will probably be paired with Loretta. So like there's many ideas on this board, many possible ideas that do not necessarily involve like doing the meta. Even like rushing Makar is gonna be a little bit interesting here, because Cronis is doing it with the Flamberge while Helios is doing it with Death's Poker. That should give Helios the advantage, because he doesn't need to collect the smithing stones on the way. He can just pretty much just go for Makar.
Yeah, and I gotta say,
Lemon.
Yeah,
Lemon is going. Both of them are going.
It's looking like non-traditional routes here from the DLC players. You know, something that I would expect given this board.
And Ellie's also going.
Yeah, and I will say I feel like these are 2 teams who are very well equipped for non-traditional boards, particularly more base game heavy boards, right? These are 4 players with a tremendous amount of base game bingo experience. You know, I know, before the season, I remember when Lemon and Cronies were teaming up, I was like, oh, you guys are 2 of the best base game players. It's almost unfortunate that you're on the same team, right? Because, of your previous talents. That being said, Lemon has been a monster in the DLC so far this season, right? And for Ellie and Helios, they've even talked about flipping who is their primary DLC player to catch opponents out for certain matchups, right? Every team at this point has a player who is more, classically trained as their DLC player. Budget Hitless will be expecting that Ellie is the DLC player, and Tank and Top will be expecting that Lemon is the DLC player, but you could switch that up at any point in the season. That's not set in stone. That is just what, you know, the practice has been dictating. And we'll see what they decide to do here today. I will say, if you're pushing Elemer of the Briar in not without Despoker, I think that's a bit of a stretch, right? Despoker is probably the fastest weapon for at least getting through Makar. And I think it would be a very tough shot for either Lemon or Cronies to contest Helios on Elemer here. But we'll see what the players decide to do, as it looks like all 4 of them are going for Makar.
Yeah, I think it's a very good call by Tank and Top, because in the past, wink wink, my game against Lemon and Cronies, they did like both went for like Altus. It was a different type of board where like it was good to do Abductor to get to the Altus, which Lemon did back in that game. Tank and Top here are basically like making sure that they don't get sidetracked by that, with like a 2v1 situation, like with Lemon and Cronies contesting Helios in every particular base game square that they want. So Ellie will be able to help. Now the question, the difficult part about this board though, is that there's not that many opportunities for you to synergize your DLC access in base game. The only real option would be to do like a 40 secs, and that is probably the slowest possible play to get to the DLC. So this base game rush by like Altus rush by all 4 players is gonna be very interesting, because like I said, there's many ideas and not all of them are very good for squares, but they might be good for prep and for making sure that you have like access to everything on the board.
Yeah, 100%. Also, I do want to say, if anyone is new to Elden Squares Bingo, first off, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. We'll either get them on commentary or someone in chat will answer them for you. This is base game plus DLC bingo with progression. So all 4 players start out in base game in that round table hold. You have unlocked graces pre-Altus. And then once you get Altus access, either via Makar, Dectus, or Virgins, you will get post-Altus graces. In order to get into the DLC, you need to kill any 2 remembrance bosses. Typically the meta is Godric Renala. However, we probably will not see that on this board, as it is a pretty light DLC board. And one final note is that bingo lines do not win. They are 2 bonus points, and the first team to the target number 13 points will be declared the winner. Again, if there are any questions, please let us know in chat, and we will get you taken care of. I also did notice betting lines for this game. Tank and Top were a rather heavy favorite, which I gotta say, you know, I'm surprised about. No disrespect to them, but you know, these are 2 teams both sitting at 1 and 2 in the league, 5 and 1 and 6 and 1 respectively. So a bit surprised to see 72% of the corn on Tank and Top. We'll see if the public is favored here today, or if the house, aka Rambler, the big better on Budget Hitless, does take home quite a sweet cash prize, corn prize.
That was definitely a value bet for me. Like, I see this game as very, very equal. So like the money being on one side makes me bet the other side like immediately. Like,
yeah,
I just don't care.
Yeah, I would agree. I think this one's pretty even, and actually the second to last game of the season here for Budget Hitless, as they will not be playing next week. And if they do get the win here today, I believe they secure a top 2 seed.
Yeah, both teams I think do. So this is basically a battle for a bye, and also the tiebreaker for like, because if Cronies and Lemon win, they will have the tiebreaker over Tank and Top. They don't have the tiebreaker over Shura and Sai, who are the team that like is the closest to them. But it doesn't matter because they only have like one other game.
Yeah, they only have one other game, and they also have the tiebreaker over Womp Womp. So with a win today, they are at worst guaranteed the 2 seed. at worst. And then for tank and top, I'd have to double check. I don't think they're 100% guaranteed. Granted, with a loss today, if a win today, they would have to lose both of their final games if they were to fall out of the 1-2 seed.
Yes, and also like they would have the tiebreaker over both Cronies and Lemon and Sure and Sai, right? So that would put them in a very good spot.
Yes.
With the tiebreakers, it's probably like there's no combination of results that would be like that would like take them out of 1 and 2. I think with a win here, only like the most weird.
And we do have both Helios and Lemon in on the Magma Worm Makar, so we will go ahead and go full screen to that with them, and then we'll bring it to the quad once all 4 players enter. Oh, Helios is in trouble here. Makar is not playing nice.
Yeah, he's already no flasks for health because with Deathspoker, you definitely want blue.
I also want to say Flamberge is a fantastic weapon, but I'm very surprised to see Cronies not pick Deathspoker. I know he's known as a hitless runner, right? And normally Deathspoker is associated with speedrunners. However, Cronies has done, I don't know if he's finished it, or at the very least he's at like 1 or 2 hit PB for all bosses, no hit Deathspoker only. So he's quite experienced with this weapon. And I was very surprised to not see him select it, but Lemon actually is the first person through the precipice. We'll go ahead and bring it to the quad here. As Helios gets tagged down to 1 hit, we'll finish him off. Very, very surprised to see how quickly Lemon was able to get through and beating Helios here by quite a bit. Through the precipice as Helios gets it down. Ellie's about to be finished. There she is, and Cronies as well. So all 4 players starting with the exact same Makar opener, and all 4 players getting it done.
It's so funny, right? He just made a bit of a mistake, I think, in terms of routing. He ended up like going back for EG to grab the intelligence tier. Which helps with the damage, but he could have done like that as part of his path to precipice. We saw Sai doing that when they have Deathspoker, and that is like the optimal route. You can get the Somber 4 on that way as well.
And this Rambler, can you check for me? Is Lemon's stream just chugging on my end? Never mind, we're good.
Yeah.
I hope we don't have a replay of the notorious game where Lemon's stream ended up 8 minutes behind everybody else's.
Yeah, I think it is fairly behind already, right? Like because
I just refreshed it and it's fine now. It's fine now after just refreshing.
Yeah, it's interesting. Lemon is going up, so we see him probably making a play for Elemer, while Helios is prioritizing getting the Sentry Torch, which means he's probably going for Sage's Cave or Black Knife Assassins first.
Yeah, it's great synergy.
Just upgrade. I think Cronies thought like Flamberge would be a better bet with like the smithing route being so good through Makar. He's gonna get like a weapon at +21 pretty fast this way. While Helios will have like a little bit more time wasting going for the Somber upgrades.
Yep, that's Cronies. There's actually a really good smithing route in Castle Soul. For anyone who's not familiar with Elden Squares, it is only 1 per upgrade. It is heavily reduced smithing costs for upgrading on the smithing weapons to balance them out with the Sombers. If anything, they're actually stronger. But it's always such a tricky balance because if it was 2 per, then you'd never see smithing weapons. So, that's just kind of the name of the game.
To figure out the path, but like smithing weapons provide more variety as well. So
yeah,
it is a good compromise.
Oh, and Ellie, maximum greed there, but she does get Margit down there.
Yeah, maximum greed. at this point, like, still not gonna have like the best vigor, right? Like, even though after Makar, because you want to upgrade your weapon. Now, it's interesting that Ellie is going now for Godric, apparently. Maybe they already are not like considering the possibility of doing Fists Daggers and are valuing a bit more of GLC progression. With like having autos, it's not gonna be a bad idea because the routing for stones is faster if you have autos than doing either the Forge or Reprimand in GLC. And not having to do GLC will probably make things a bit easier for Ellie. The problem is now figuring out what's gonna be the second Remembrance. I wonder if they're gonna try to synergize something here, maybe Radahn, maybe Fortisex, or if it's just gonna be, well, probably not Renala at this point, like
Yeah.
after doing Makar.
Yeah, I would highly doubt that it's Renala, because I would imagine that she would have gone Abductor Virgins into Altus if that was her idea. It seems like the plan is here is for her was step one, get your Altus map progressions, that way you don't have to worry about it later, and then go for DLC with a little bit of synergy. We'll see if that ends up being Radahn with the Kaled bosses, or Fortisax. As we have Lemon here looking to draw first blood and claim the center square. He's going for Elimer here.
Nice opening.
I don't think
Just
there's a
said it.
GA to not do Godric Renala. I just think that it's very weak on this board. The DLC just is not incredibly strong. There's only 8 DLC squares. 2 of them are the 2 latest DLC squares in the entire set. And then you have one other that is Altus. Actually, you have 2 others that are Altus plus DLC combined, right? So only 4 DLC squares that are not either A, uber late, or B, require Altus access. So that's why we're not seeing the kind of the standard rush here.
It's a weird board to navigate. Going for center square is not a bad idea. Lemon gets it
Yep.
very expertly. Now, Helios is going for the Sage's Cave. Cronus gets blasted while getting money, I believe.
And Ellie is going for Godric here. I think that center square, especially on a weird board, is very strong to get. I would have honestly expected there to be a snipe either way. Kind of surprised that both teams didn't push it, just because I think that center square in this format, my personal opinion is that it's stronger than it's ever been. Even though bingo lines don't win, I think diag bingos are just oppressively broken almost in this format, given that the best way to fight off a bingo is to counter bingo. And with the diag, there's no counterplay. We'll go full screen with Helios here for Gary Garrison. He gets in a bit of trouble.
It's not the type of vigor you want to be doing, Gary.
No, not at all. And it looks like Ellie's now making a play for Loretta here. And Cronies is actually going for Sage's Cave as well. So Helios has quite a bit of a lead, but if there was a mistake, Cronies could catch, especially because Cronies has a significantly higher level weapon than Helios here.
Yeah, that's the danger.
Looked like Helios was going for a potential backstab there, didn't get it. Down to half health and 1 flask here. Down to less than full health. He's going to be going for the invisible assassin.
Nice.
He gets tagged again by a snail. Cronus is now in here. Let's go ahead and bring Helios and Cronus here up to the dual screen. Helios is probably going to have to do this Invis Assassin Hitless. Granted, he does have the Sentry Torch, so it won't be fully invisible. That being said, we'll have to be very, very careful here.
Yeah, also his damage is going to be probably, like, bad compared to Cronus's.
Cronus is, at the very least, Cronus will not get bleed against the Invis Assassin, right?
That is true.
I mean, the biggest thing that would slow Helios down is that he has to be very slow and very careful here because, all right, he already gets tagged once there. So now at this point, any one shot will finish him off. Cronus also, though, has no health, so has to be very careful with Gary Garrison. Lemon here is going in for Radon. We're going to keep it dual screen with the two players racing for the Sage's Cave. As Helios gets another backstab there. Cronus gets down Gary.
I guess a bit of a mistake by both of them not doing the Black Knife first. Because there is Black Knife Assassins on the board, and you might be able to contest even if you lose the other square.
Yeah, maybe. Helios does get that down. There goes the mark. We're going to go ahead and bring it full screen with Ellie and Lemon now. Lemon going for Radon to help him with DLC access into Caleb boss. Meanwhile, Ellie just going for a square here with Loretta.
And this will already put a very nasty threat on row 5. May force Lemon to stick around for longer, doing Caleb boss as a block.
And there goes Loretta there. So now a 2-1 lead for tank and top. But of course, well, actually a lot of the center square is neutralized now because both diags have been claimed by tank and top. So no possibility for diagonal bingos here early. A lot of high value squares positionally being claimed early on.
Yeah, and this proves that like tank and top really like sacking center square was very nice because they guaranteed like not only this play but also Helios now going for the black knives, which were already prepped. Like he already had like the Sentry's Torch obviously, but also he was in Ordina, so like he's gonna snipe Cronus again.
Yeah, Cronus is, it looks like if we go bring it to these two, Cronus seems to be walking into a second snipe here with the Black Knife Assassins. Lemon gets Radon down there very nicely, and it looks like Ellie's going to be going for Radon as well in order to get her DLC access. Yeah, Cronus is just a little slow here comparatively. Obviously, he went with the upgrade route first. Maybe not, not as aggressive. I will say, if for me, just thinking about Cronus, right? If there was a time where he was gonna get caught out, it would be in these rushes, right? He's such a solid player. He's probably been the most consistent player all season, making, I think, arguably the least mistakes of anyone within the Golden Order. Multiple matches have been won by budget hitless because Cronus is just so consistent and doesn't make mistakes, and it works out super nicely because Lemon goes more aggressive. But Helios gets grabbed there, and is he dead? I believe he is. So Cronus could catch.
Cronus didn't finish the boss, or did he? I didn't see if he did.
I did not see.
If he did, this is big.
Yeah.
This is very, very big.
Yeah, because Cronus he did finish the boss according to Novacat, so he's now in the lead. This is just one of the differences in the playstyles with Cronus versus a lot of others in the league, right? Cronus tends to go a little bit, don't get me wrong, he's still very fast, right? But just not quite as but Cronus, never mind, he makes a mistake there as I was glazing him. Commentators
God.
cursed. Blame who's, fuck who's.
Curse. Now they're both at 2 black knives. Helios now has the upper hand. Helios gets a backstab when he should have gotten the riposte, but the game is funny sometimes.
Yeah. And one thing about Ellie doing Loretta here, she actually grabs Chilling Mist, which is a fantastic Ash of War. It allows her to still have the physical scaling. So overall, she will not have split damage and her base damage will still be a little bit higher. But with that Chilling Mist Ash, she still gets the Frost procs. So adding further synergy to the Loretta play there as Black Knife Assassins gets marked, Cronies gets sniped. Yeah. And now there are quite a few threats on the edges of the board here.
That must hurt a lot based on the death there. Like if Cronies had clutched that kill, he would have gotten not only a very nice block on column 5, but also set up row 3 to be pretty much like very difficult to not contest, right? Like because you could go to the GLC straight up there. Like Demi-Human Queens kind of fits well with Ghost Flame Dragons because you need to kill AGM to get the best Ghost Flame Dragon to kill, and then you have access to Mariga as an easier Demi-Human Queen to get to than the one in Volcano Cave. So that threat now is not gonna happen. So Budget Hitless will have to play defensively from very early here.
Yeah. An unfortunate start there early for Budget Hitless, but obviously it's quite early on, and we've seen anything can happen in these games, right? Not only is the margin for error so slim, as we've already seen today, but snipes in this format are more prevalent and more volatile than ever, especially if you're used to singles bingo, right? When the board gets cut in half effectively, and there are 4 players going for squares, the room for snipes just increases so much, and all it takes is one snipe to completely turn this game on its head, right?
Yeah, we see
as we already saw, right? Like the Black Knives, if that goes the way of Cronies, this game is completely even. If not a slight lead towards Budget Hitless, but instead both Cronies and Helios made mistakes. However, Helios got there first and Helios claims the square, and now we see Tank and Top in a stronger position.
Yeah, we see Lemon basically like already respecting the line and pushing Kaled bosses to make sure that they don't have to deal with Maddie or Bale. Now the funny thing about this is because he's pushing it this way, like very like strongly, they are not exactly doing as much to synergize Kaled bosses. I think he may be going for the Knight's Cavalry now.
Yep, and Ellie gets Radon down, but we're gonna go full screen with Cronies here as he is doing Commander Nile in order to get the full Haligtree medallion.
Yeah, that could be a nice, interesting positional play here on like getting column 3 more of a more like teeth into it, because we all know Cronies can do like Vike very well, and Logre Magnus is gonna be available eventually for Lemon.
And also this just gives him a lot of Vig too. Maybe he doesn't even complete full Haligtree. He might just go Nile first, and then he could go Vike. Because it makes it much more comfortable, and B, Vike into Okina is a very strong line of play there, as it just kind of one leading straight into the other.
Yeah, and the fist check that people are mentioning here, like there is actually like basically 3 checks of fists on the way in Haligtree Medallion, because you get the fist from Nile, you get a dagger very close to Albus, and after getting the medallion, you get invaded by Ensha in Round Table.
Oh,
so that means you also have like a
rare mistake from Helios as High Lord Wolnir just obliterates him.
He got really destroyed there. Like Chromis did earlier.
And Lemon has received Death's Poker. This just in. Lemon killed the Deathrite bird and got the vanilla drop of Death's Poker.
Oh, look at that. It is destiny.
This game will deliver to you destined Death Poker.
This gets stacked there by the almost undodgeable frost attack.
And there goes the bleed. Cronies gets that down. Lemon continuing to work on Caleb Dragon Barrow bosses. I believe this is his third in the Night's Cav.
And they're going for the reprimand set. I think it would be faster to just do the Altus smithing route at this point. Especially because doing Makar you don't need 4s, you only need 2 5s actually. I don't see reprimand being important on this board unless I'm missing something.
It's also possible that she wants this for the money for some reason. Long half axe, not the lightest weapon in the world. Granted, she does have quite a bit of pocket change.
Yeah, I still think like because you get also so much money by going through Altus, like so many opportunities to get like your money, like Orgina for example is a very nice pickup. You can also get in mountaintops where Helios just got like destroyed. Like there is like a good amount of money there. It's not like America's Room, but it's still nice enough, I would say.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised here to see. So Cronus is actually pushing Sleeping Golem and Lanedell. That surprises me a little bit. I would have expected to see immediately into Vike. Because I just think the Vike Okina line is super strong, but actually going for Sleeping Golem and Lanedell here. Helios is going for it with no Vig, so this is kind of an interesting play by Cronus, right? Because you're pushing in Helios potentially into Vike, right? Or leaving that play open. But we've seen Vike cause a lot of issues, right? Especially with low health, which Helios has, I'd say, a moderate amount of health, not as much as you would want. Lemon is going to finish this out here. We'll go ahead and go full screen with Helios here for the Vike Invader. As that was Lemon's 5th, because he did Nox Duo as well.
Yeah. So he has, I believe, only one mounted boss then, right?
Yes.
Which is Radon. So that
no, he is 2. He is Radon and the Night's Cav. Radon and the Night's Cav.
No, I think, I think.
He did Radon, Night's Cav, Nox Duo, Deathrite Bird, and Exegs. And Lemon's actually going to Fortis Axe here to get his DLC access, so DLC will, without a doubt, come into play here just later, and Lemon going to be quite a ways behind Ellie.
Oh yeah, I think that might be very dangerous, very, very dangerous, because Ellie now has all the time in the world to not only upgrade, but like get Death Knight and DLC Jail and Sword of Light kind of like half prepped. Like they could be pushing several threats here.
And Helios goes down there. Helios goes down.
Yep. Yeah, Vike is a very difficult boss to deal with, like with this amount of vigor. Like actually even like a lot more vigor, you can get comboed by the spear moves.
Yeah. And Crony's going for Sleeping Golem and Lanedell. It shouldn't be a problem for him as long as he has frames.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rambler.
Right.
And there
it's
it
not
goes
a problem.
down.
Even without frames, it should not be a problem.
And there it goes down. So now we have a tied game at 3-3. If Cronies does push Vike here and gets a snipe, but actually he decides not to, we'll go back full screen with Helios here for Vike.
I wonder if they're already like selling out to push a line like completely, like column 4 or row 2 even, with Halic Tree Medallion being already like positioned for them. Fortisex as well, like Cronus could just like go and do Catacombs, and he has I didn't see what fist he got uh Nile, but like Road 2, no squares marked, but already promising for a budget hitless.
Thestis was the fist pickup there, apparently for cronies. Also, sorry for the music issues there. I hit some buttons accidentally.
Oh, Hitless.
Yeah, this is a sketchy fight here.
Oh my god. Still a whole health bar, and like Death's Poker's quality is like how much you can get like off the Ash of War, but Vike does not suffer frost, so that means you don't get as much as you would like.
Why did Vike have to be a square? Because as cronies marks full High Tree Medallion. Ellie's going straight for Death Knight here. Also, this just in, the pass rush of the Indiana Hoosiers looking quite dominant today as they have 2 sacks on 9 dropbacks.
Oh my god.
This is such a long bike fight.
This is like not the best call, I would say.
I mean, if he gets it, I think it is, because also Vike drops a large amount of money. It's just scary as hell.
Oh, that was a very nice backstab.
That roll afterwards was very scary, though.
Ooh, yeah.
As Helios does get it down. Yeah, and there goes Vike 4-4 game.
3. But the danger now is row 2. I wonder if they're gonna like, realistically speaking, Catacombs is still a possibility, but Seals might be the only one that they can actually complete before Lemon and Cronies.
Well,
but it's very hard to call that though. Like 46 is.
I mean, Ellie could go Vike or could go Death Knight into Catacombs.
Yeah, that's probably the call, but like, I think it's still faster for Cronies to do 3 there. Lemon's now going. Lemon is going for Catacombs.
Yeah.
And Cronies is going for Dagger's Fist. They are looking to bingo on row 2. That's for sure.
Yeah, and Ellie's setting up sort of light and dark here, so that's going to further delay her. A smart synergy play, and will not affect her getting Death Knight, but if she had any aspirations of getting Catacombs after this, that's going to hurt.
Yeah. I'm gonna like, it's gonna be a bit technical, but Hina's getting the block on column 3 with Vike ends up not being like that important if they get bingoed, because if they get bingoed, we know that matter is not gonna be done in this game, because then you don't need that square to get to their team. And that might be the same for Bale.
Yeah, because there's no south
as well.
And there's
Ghost Flame Dragons, but
yeah, I suppose.
But everything else is faster.
As we're seeing some minor mistakes here from Helios today that are starting to add up a little bit, as he goes down there to the Colossal Hand, just trying to run past. Again, minor mistakes, not devastating, but you have more than a few of them, they will add up. Ellie here going for the Death Knight. We'll go full screen with her.
It's a very good damage on the Death Knight, because they get frosted really easily. And this weapon is so good for this fight because you get so many staggers.
Lemon
Nice
gets the
rolls
first
there. Ooh.
catacomb down there with the black knife, and Ellie in a little bit of trouble. Helios here is going for the Okina Invader. I'm actually going to go back to just the... We'll go to the 4-player big screen really quickly. Ellie will move up to the top left so we can watch Helios fight the Okina Invader. This could be a big double square for tank and top as they would take a 6-4 lead here. That being said, does nothing to address the threat that's building on row 2. There goes Okina down for Helios. We'll go back full screen with Ellie here. Yeah, this is a good time for Helios. I worked with when I had to redo the entire schedule because of some... Oh, he's in trouble.
And he used the Blessing of Mary, got there, but
yeah, she has to
no
go
avail.
hitless here. Anyways, what I was saying is I had to redo the entire schedule for the last 2 weekends, and I worked with Ellie and Helios in particular to make sure that I had good times for them. As Ellie goes down there to the Death Knight, Ellie goes down to the Death Knight. She'll still get this square, but that's quite a big time loss. Ultimately doesn't impact anything that's happening as of right now, but you know, one of the things we see in this game, right, as it is a race for 13 squares, right, deaths pile up, and while it doesn't impact your immediate future, in the long run you just end up a square or 2 behind late. Cronies here is finishing up Dagger's Fist only. We'll actually go ahead and go dual screen with Cronies and Ellie here. Cronies moving to the top right as well as Ellie to the top left.
It's gonna be an interesting timing situation here, though. Like, if Ellie marked the Death Knight there, Lemon would feel forced to finish Catacombs and would give time for Helios to catch up on Fortisex. Because Helios is working on Fortisex right now. But he's far behind Lemon.
Yeah, Lemon's going to be walking a tightrope here with Fortisex and Catacombs.
I think he'll probably finish it, though. Regardless. Yeah, he's going for the Cemetery Shade. I think that's enough time. We're gonna, like, very soon here see a supersonic race on Fortisex.
As Cronies gets down, Remembrance Boss Dagger Fist only. But Helios has now pivoted out. Helios may be making some progress towards demi-human queens, potentially. We'll go full screen with Ellie here once again. And it looks like Cronies is immediately going for the seals. I can see he just checked his Stone Sword keys, and he's going to be grabbing the Godskin seal. And I would imagine he just continues to hard rush seals.
He is still thinking of maybe contesting Catacombs is a bit of a mistake here.
Yeah. I think Helios's timing might be a little bit thrown off. He's had some, minor deaths that are in the long run not consequential, but his internal clock might be behind a little bit. I think that's the biggest thing with those deaths, is that in the long run they do impact your internal clock as a player.
Now, one thing that Ellie and Helios could think about, if the problem is it's too slow, is maybe counter bingo on row 4. But they are behind on mounted bosses.
Yeah, I will say Helios has so far been the most active player on the board. 4 squares here for Helios. He leads the count. We have 4 for Helios, 3 for Cronies, 2 for Lemon, and 1 for Ellie. Granted, not going to say anything because curse.
There
And
it is.
there goes Death Knight. Got a little close there at the end. Whew, okay.
Very close. Yeah.
There goes Death Knight for Ellie. So Tank and Top now take a 6-5 lead. But Lemon might double snipe Helios here on both Fortisax and Catacombs. And then Cronies is hard going for Seals. I think this row 2 might be done and dusted.
Yeah, the only thing that can,
death. Yeah.
Yeah, on Fortisax. Yeah, Fortisax might be the. Now the funny thing is, he just finished the Catacomb almost at the same time, so he can go back to do Fortisax.
No one on budget Hitless has DLC access. Lemon will kill Fortisax here for his access. He's already killed Radon. So Ellie has the ability to roam free here through the DLC. However, this bingo will put them behind.
I find this a bit of a bad idea by Ellie going back section now. Like, Matter is on the board, but it's not enough. I think Sword of Light here you do by killing Hippo, because it is faster. And also Sword of Light is not an important square now.
Yeah.
The most important squares are the ones in row 4 that could like allow for a counter bingo now.
Well, we can see the hugging race here into actual Fortisax.
Now the question is, can Death's Poker destroy Fortisax fast enough? Because for Lemon it's gonna be a little bit more of a more involved fight, I would say.
Yeah, but he has such a lead.
Oh, and he is still not fully upgraded.
Yeah, we'll go full screen.
No, never mind. He just didn't even kill D yet.
Oh yeah, we'll go full screen with Lemon here because he has a free run at this.
Yes, now he can even die at least once, even actually twice. Yeah, this is gonna be a bingo. There's probably no way around it now.
Unless Cronies were to, for some reason, pivot off of Seals after collecting 4, right? Which I just, we've seen crazier things, but with a bingo on the line, I just don't see a pivot off, right? If this was just
going for Seals, it's gonna be a snipe again.
Yeah. I mean, they just, I think that what really killed them was missing out on the synergy between Haligtree and Dagger's Fist only, especially on a board that was very weak for Dagger's Fist weapons, right? Missing that synergy was pretty big.
Yeah, I think also like as soon as you see the line is there and you're not certain if you can get the block or not, you need to start playing for more squares. So like GLC Jail should be a next one for Ellie. Logre Magnus, Two-Handed Sword, like things that are somewhat fast now that you have access to try to get like your count high enough that while they're doing the line, you are at least like not getting behind.
Yeah, I also wonder with the Catacombs Fortisax thing, right? Maybe a little bit more tape study would have helped them out, because Helios doing kind of the pretty standard play of double prepping to try to get a block there, working on both Catacombs and Fortisax, right? But Lemon is a very aggressive, Lemon uses double prepping squares aggressively rather than defensively. Because he had already prepped Fortisax and then did Catacombs, right? So Helios's defensive double prep just was all for naught.
Exactly. And Cronus now has free reign to do whatever he wants to address the other blocks they might need.
And there goes the bingo. 10-6 game now. All of a sudden, a budget Hitless take Tank take a massive lead here.
Yeah, and sadly, it's also gonna be like a situation where Ellie now has access to Sword of Light, but it's still kind of like a 3.5 minute square, uh, and she's effectively tied with Lemon in the rest of the GLC because GLC JO is like is tied now. Ghost Flame Dragons is still tied as well. Uh, the only square that Ellie has an advantage is Matter, and Matter doesn't matter anymore. Now there is the possibility though for a more like involved idea trying to go only for row 4, but I don't think it's realistic because you're facing Cronies and Lemon with like the ability of doing other early squares that will prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I mean, they still have life here, but they're gonna need to snipe quite a bit there. Lemon continuing to work on mounted bosses. I hope he does count correctly because that was his third, with both Radon and the Kaled Knights Cap dead. Also, this game will be quite interesting, so the result makes it quite interesting. So Lemon and Cronies will secure one of the two first round buys for sure, and Tank and Top will still control their own destiny, but need to have wins over Old But Gold, Jay and Rambler, as well as Wander and Strump. So if they win out, they will still control their destiny and secure a top 2 seed. That being said though, tough games ahead.
How do you get all the way to 1599 marking? Like, can you
I
mark?
have no idea.
Can you reverse
this
mark?
just in, apparently almost 1600, nearly 1600 bales have been killed. Nearly 1600 bales have been killed by Lemon. What a job.
This is a different level of player, right?
Yeah. We've never seen such speed before. And still holding, right? Just shows how players hold in this league, right?
Yeah, Lemon just marked 4, so he's counting mounted bosses correctly. And this is gonna be another snipe for like because Ellie just did the 3 Sentinel duel. Probably trying to prepare Lord bosses as well. Because 3 Sentinel duel is a slow mounted boss to do.
And I will say, I feel like budget Hitless are making them like just a very dangerous team. They've been playing so well as of recent, right? And you know, if this is a more standard board, right, I think I still might favor Tank and Top on that type of a board, but budget Hitless seem to have a fantastic ability to just play any type of board. And that's incredibly that just makes them incredibly dangerous, right? Because you talk about a playoff set, right? Realistically, in a 3-game set, odds are that one of the 3 boards will be pretty non-standard, and that's going to be a big boon for them in the playoffs here.
And that was with, and let's put it this way, like that was with snipes on Sage's Cave and Black Knife Assassins. Like, they were not in a great spot. But they found the good line there, like even before it formed, really, like we saw that there was potential, and they got it perfectly. Like they got the Catacombs at the right time, they had Fortisax prep at the right time. It was too late for Hitless and Ellie.
Yeah, because this is gonna be with mounted bosses here. This is gonna be a 6-0 run here over the last 10 to 15 minutes, right? That is one of the things about this format, right? You have to be so predictive with how you play it because stuff can turn on a dime.
Yeah, And at this point, it's pretty much indefensible. Like we don't like to say like it's over before the game is actually over. But how do you defend there? Like now it's impossible. Like you cannot get the extra squares for the bingo, the extra points. I mean, you cannot contest two players on like the whole board at this point because they like Lemon has access to everything, Cronis has access to autos, and he showed that he has other options, like for example, because he marked Haley Medallion, that means he has like access to Physic-less tiers as well, like because there are like some places that are closer, right?
Yeah.
He already like picked up the ones on the way to Draconic Tree Sentinel. He's probably working on Lord bosses now.
Yeah.
Lemon's going for two-handed sword apparently, and if those two go uncontested, that's gonna be GG's on those two squares.
I mean, the positives that you can take away for Tank and Top is that, you know, it's not like they played particularly poorly today. You know, a few minor mistakes on Helios' side, but ultimately that was not, you know, it wasn't skill issues or mistakes that made the difference here today. It was just, you know, a bit of Lemon just, you know, outplayed Helios in terms of setting up the snipes there and not recognizing the Hallowed Tree Dagger's Fist only synergy, right? Those are things that can be addressed, and especially going into the playoffs, I would anticipate that players kind of increase their tape study a little bit more, you could say, right? You know, Ellie and Helios, they have, you know, both these teams have 2 games this weekend, right? So probably just focusing a lot more on controlling, you know, what they can control, right? And maybe not doing as much, you know, opponent specific prep. I would imagine in the playoffs that will change a lot. You know, something that was kind of patented by Blanks, honestly. I think Blanks in Bingo Brawlers Season 4 completely kind of reinvented the wheel in terms of individual opponent preparation. In something that I would expect our teams to do here in the playoffs. But a pretty big win in fairly dominant fashion here for Budget Hitless.
Yeah, like what I think is something that like both teams can look back on is like Lemon and Cronis, they managed to concoct that line after getting in a bad spot in the early game. But the line was available regardless, right? Like it's not like they weren't like, so maybe they can lean even more into this aggressiveness and like get away with it, right? Like I think that's a thing they can like have learned from this win. In the case of Ellie and Helios, obviously, like trying to find the line before it actually appears is something that we always want to see in Bingo. But maybe I think like going for some squares for like blocks that were not needed at that moment, like Vike or Death Knight, were probably it was probably better to make sure that you had like all your bases covered. And column 4 was also a problem, right? Like as soon as Crone is marked Golan, maybe you let go of Death Knight and go for Seals, which is like kind of a miserable square to go for, granted, but it would be like it would have saved them not only on row 2 but also on column 4.
Yeah, Cronies now is working on Lord bosses here with Godfrey. Ellie's continuing to work on ADM to get her south access.
Sure, I see that, but like it is a very slow catacomb. She would lose catacombs, and even with like a perfect Death Knight.
Yeah, I mean overall, I think, you know, I don't think this is a. I think it's a very disappointing game to lose, given what you could have gained here, right, with a win. But given how the game played out, very non-traditional board, right? You know, some scouting errors in terms of, you know, the course of play for Lemon that you could correct, right? I think there's a lot of like correctable things that if this match were to, which I think it is very likely to repeat again in the playoffs, right? I would not say that Budget Hitless are necessarily a heavy favorite if this does get run back in the playoffs. So I just think the biggest thing for Tank and Top, assuming the result goes the way that we see it, is going to be like, hey, you still control your own destiny for a top 2 seed, right? Keep playing good bingo, bounce back, and the issues are correctable. It's not like you just lost because you got fully outsped or out skill issued or skill issued. It's just Lemon and Cronies played a non-traditional board much better than you. Tip your hats off to them. Very well-deserved win and a very well-deserved top 2 first-round bye for them. But correctable errors on the side of Tank and Top here today.
Yeah, I'll be back in a minute. Sorry.
No problem. Rambler has been having issues all morning. The birds in Brazil are quite aggressive here. I saw him at the start. He was sharing his screen. It looked like an Alfred Hitchcock movie with how bad the birds were attacking him. So he needs to go take care of that, and he'll be right back. Tank and Top continuing to fight here today. Cronies is going to finish off Lord bosses to get them to 12, and Two-Handed Sword Dragon Crest Great Shield will be 13. And this should, unless there is an error to Loretta and an Onyx Lord, I don't see any way that this is not a win for Budget Hitless, and really a fantastic win for them. Not only is it such a big win against such a great team to secure a top 2 seed, but they got sniped and had adversity early. There goes Two-Handed Sword and Dragon Crest Great Shield. They got sniped, had adversity early, and still just bounced back. And quite honestly, the back half of this game has just been utter domination for Team Budget Hitless, and they need to be feeling really good. We'll see them one more time here on tomorrow. Actually, they will be playing. Who do they play tomorrow? They will play ASIM and Nexus tomorrow. If they win that game, they will secure the #1 overall seed. But it's still a big one for ASIM and Nexus if they are fighting for playoff contention, especially with the big win yesterday for Expedition 25. We have quite the battle with 3 teams sitting at 3 and 4. Both of these Tower Princesses and Expedition 25 all fighting for those last 2 remaining playoff spots. We'll go full screen with Cronies here. He takes care of Loretta, and then it will just be this final Onyx Lord, and that will be GG's in a fantastic win for Budget Hitless, as moving to 7-1, incredibly impressive. I don't think they've lost since their first game of the season, I want to say. Yeah, they lost their first game of the season against Time Complexity, and then have been on a 7-0 run, and will look to make it 8 games in a row with a win over Power Princesses tomorrow. And maybe somewhat reminiscent of Shura last season, right? Shura lost week 1 against Nexus last season, and then ran the table after that, minus a playoff loss, but not a set loss, just a single match loss against Rambler. Could we see the same here from Budget Hitless? That will remain to be seen, but a very impressive run. This league is so hard to consistently win, as we've seen, so rattling off 7 in a row is incredibly impressive, and just a great job by them. As there goes this final square, and there we have it. GG's. That will be a win for Budget Hitless, a dominant win for them, and they should be very proud of themselves, as actually you couldn't tell looking at the board, but they battled back from adversity early and got a huge win here.
yeah, it's like a very good comeback in terms of finding the way that was like the best to win on this game, making sure that they were in a position to contest things. Because when you think about like if Catacombs gets marked, they are in trouble. But at the same time, because of the prep, uh, Lemon was in a position to go back, go into the GLC and make sure that they still can contest the majority of the game. So they were in a very good spot with the row. If they don't get the row, they could still win. So it was a very nice job in finding the right squares to go at the right time.
Yeah, 100%. Sorry. Also, I'm just gonna say I'm behind because of stuff I was dealing with. I did not have my normal prep. So we are looking for co-commentators for the last 2 games today. If you're interested, please send me a DM. And let's go ahead and bring in our players here. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. GG's.
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 We'll start with our winners here, Lemon and Cronies. Obviously, that was a very different board, right? And you guys battled back from some adversity there at the start, obviously getting sniped on Sage's Cave and Black Knife Assassins back to back. And then going and getting a rather dominant win. When did you guys start to think about the road 2? Was that a plan initially, or was that somewhat reactionary given the snipes at the start?
It was. I wanted Cronus to get Sleeping Golem because we pressured the shittiest line being column 4, and then he happened to have medallions, and I was prepping Fortisex to get into DLC, and we realized, oh shit, we get this. So I skipped out on Fortisex, went Catacombs, and that's when we wanted it.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, you guys played that quite really well. Ultimately, I think this was a game that there were some minor mistakes, but it wasn't a huge execution difference. It was just you guys played the board better, and Helios went for the more defensive double prepping Catacombs and Fortisax, trying to guarantee one, but you'd already prepped both, Lemon, because you went with the more aggressive double prep, and that ended up being probably the biggest difference here, right? Because if that square splits, then you guys are down. It would currently be 10-8 as it would sit, right? So that was absolutely massive for you guys. You now move to 7-1. You guarantee yourselves a first round bye. And whether that be the 1 or the 2 seed, if you win your next game, you will guarantee the number 1 overall seed. And you've now won 7 in a row. Lost your first game of the season, but ripping off 7 straight. How are you guys feeling going into your last game of the season and then going into playoffs, in which you'll have time off beforehand so you can do your Hitless and your Arc Raiders?
League of Legends.
League of Legends now. League of Legends now, I see. Okay.
We've downgraded to League.
Honestly,
God, I can't believe I lost to a fucking League player. What a degenerate.
You yourself were a League player, okay?
Yeah,
Not
were
as bad as
like
you think.
years ago. I've
not as bad as you
recovered.
think.
I've recovered.
Bro, the scariest
believe
person
I
in this
lost to a League
tournament
player.
for Cronus is Cronus. He's as big as up, bro. What is that?
True. Yeah, after the Sage's Cave Assassin snipes, I was ready to just give up. I felt so bad because I made like a couple of tiny mistakes that ultimately cost me those 2 squares, and I was just like disappointed or frustrated or whatever. So I'm a little worried going into the next game, just because I feel like the last couple of games I've been a little off some. So I'm a little worried, but Lemon kind of reeled me back in so we could finish this one out, which was good.
Yeah, well, that's what teammates are for, right? Especially in this
Yeah.
2v2, picking you up when you're down. I mean, you've played. I know your standard is ridiculously high, but it's not like one mistake and this guy says, "Oh, I played like shit. I'm ready to give up," right? But
Yeah.
that just Cronies in the standard he holds himself to. But really, it was like a very, very well played game, and obviously a big one coming up for you in this next one. If you win, no matter what, you're secured a first round bye, right? But if you beat the Tower Princesses, ASIM and Nexus, you will guarantee yourselves the #1 overall seed, and also they're going to be coming hard because well, Lemon, don't say anything. Because
Coming in hard.
Yeah, I know. They're gonna be. They need the win, right? We have 3 teams at 3 and 4 fighting for 2 spots in the playoffs, right? So a big game for them, and we look forward to seeing you guys play tomorrow. Any final thoughts from both of you?
I hope tomorrow
I
goes
welcome the
well.
hard.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much, and GG's again. Congratulations on a big win. For Tank and Top, I know, first off, I know that was not a board that you guys were probably hoping to see, right? A very non-traditional board. And while, it was, ended up being a pretty, pretty decisive win for Budget Hitless, I feel like, a few, it's not like you guys got severely outplayed outside of a few, decision-making things. And the good news is you still control your own destiny, right? With 2 more if you win your last 2 games, you will still secure that first round bye. Any thoughts from you guys after this one and going into the next one?
We feel pretty good. I was saying to Helios, what a good board to get in a regular season game where like we are in playoffs anyway. Because this is, like you said, a really weird board. I think our biggest mistake, my Death Knight death was stupid. I said to Helios, I should probably just reset my flasks, and I didn't listen to my own wisdom. Die on purpose the first time.
Mhm.
But I think the bigger, there's no execution errors, I think, other than that. And Helios had a few silly deaths here, but those are okay. I think the biggest mistake we made was we thought we had more time to block and push at the same time, but I really should have just went Catacombs instead of Death Knight. Because this is the type of board where you actually can really quietly prep whatever you want to quietly prep, like Lemon, if you aren't careful. And because of that, I think they played that much better, and we've had boards like that in practice. How do I say this without being mean to we've not played competent opponents in boards like this who know how to actually navigate the board properly before, in a way that we haven't maybe thought about ourselves. I think that's a competency we even lack ourselves. So I don't know, this is a real, it's an inaugural format, lots of learning to be done, and I'm very happy, like I said, that if we're going to take an L, it's going to be now before playoffs, so we can learn how to navigate these boards in the future. They could show up again. So yeah. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about it, honestly.
I was kind of laughing. I wasn't really upset after the Catacombs Fortisac. I was laughing because I realized we messed up really bad, and this is going to be a really good game to learn from for us. One more thing, though. I think this kind of play would not have worked if we were playing someone other than Lemon, who is a DLC player, but he's incredibly, obviously skilled in the base game. And not a lot of teams have that kind of flexibility where their DLC player can just go mark Fortisacs, kill it first try, right?
That's another thing too. That's kind of also meant by competency of Lemon and cronies. Outside of Sai and Shura, maybe some of the other 2 teams who can really flex both roles in the strongest way possible. Most teams feel really specialized, and so when we saw this board, I'm like, this is a board that we're going to get a real scary but important learning opportunity against a team who can actually navigate this board to the fullest potential. I think Sai and Shura is another example of a team who could do it too. We just didn't get that of a board when we played them. So anyway, feeling pretty good. I mean, loss is a loss. That's fine. Low-key, I don't even know if I want a first-round bye. If I get a week off, I'm going to hard to motivate myself. But, all the same. I'm just excited. I think they played really well, and good GG's to them. That was a good game.
Yeah, GG's. It was a great game, and I also think natural, just like the natural I'm not sure how much scouting or whatever is being done in terms of prepping for specific opponents, right? I assume in the playoffs that'll
they never play and practice together. There's no scouting.
I assume in playoffs that will.
Cronies doesn't play. He plays ARAM all the time. And Arc Raiders. How am I supposed to scout against a League player and a Furry Arc Raiders player? Actually impossible. No scouting.
That's why there's Veil Break 101.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, I feel like, the natural tendencies of, particularly Lemon and Cronies, right? Just the way, or Lemon and Helios, right? With the Catacombs and the Fortisacs, just the way that it worked out here. in this one was a big advantage Lemon, but this is a matchup that I definitely, if we do get to see it again in the playoffs, I'd definitely be excited to see different boards and how you guys adapt based on this matchup, because it was a great one to watch, and two fantastic teams, both of you. We'll see you both in the playoffs, and if we do see this matchup again, definitely one that I'm really looking forward to.
I know, it was fun. It was really good. I'm sad that they don't practice enough, because I would love to actually do more casual.
Yeah, y'all better not lose
them.
until you play us again. I want revenge.
All right. Well, thank you guys
well played, guys.
so much
Really
for playing. GG's. We will take a short break, and then Lemon and I will be right back. Or sorry,
What?
Rambler and I will be right back with the next game. And I also just want to say a big thank you to everyone in the community. Had obviously been dealing with stuff this weekend and had to rely on others. So just a massive thank you for everyone in the community for helping make not only this event what it is, but just helping me out personally and everything. I just love you all, and appreciate the hell out of each and every one of you, and just want to make sure you all know that, whether that be players, commentators, viewers, whoever you are. I just appreciate everyone for being part of this community. You all mean the world to me. So thank you very much, and we will be right back.